Within this dungeon are many dangers. There are traps and bombs, monsters and rules. But despite the horrors, a group of guys has plunged into its depths. Watch as they face trials and find out who will be consumed and who will become a legend. To understand things a little better, we have to go a while back. I decided to make a deadly dungeon, something like the Tomb of Horrors. There would be traps, but not just magic bullshit you have to imagine on a blank piece of paper. I wanted to show you these things, so I built them. As for the game itself, the premise is this. A group of adventurers finds a map and 2 keys. The map shows a place and the following instructions. Magic is forbidden, obey the one inside, prepare a joke or a song about explosions. Follow these rules and the treasure is yours. After a long journey, the heroes arrive in an unknown territory where they find stone doors with dwarven runes. As it is written, the key lies in their musical taste, so the party does a little performance to open these doors.
Boom, 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 boom. I wanna go boom, boom. Let's spend the night together in my room.
Alright, you chill. With the doors open wide, the heroes encounter someone dangerous, someone dark. Their guide, Hans. He will observe their passage through the dungeon and ensure that the rules are followed. As the first order of business, he asks for their rope. The heroes hesitate, but after a while, they comply and overwhelm him with thick rope, which he throws into a weird chest. Deprived of their strongest ally, they go on and enter the next room. In this chamber, they find prehistoric statues of dwarven kings and something strange. A bear trap. Their task is to disarm the bear trap without leaving anything in it. An easy job for our monk. He lunges at the trap and disarms it just before the jaws snap shut. The group begins to celebrate, but they got another thing coming. This trap is the trigger for a door in the ceiling. It opens up to reveal a large bear trap falling down towards the party. The barbars and the fighter are too slow to dodge it, but the monk dashes in to overload the trap, because the force of the impact will spread out across a larger mass, lessening the damage. And does it work? Everyone screams, but survives. Hans has no reaction. He checks the manual and states that the result is basically the same, so everyone continues to the next room. The second chamber is long and filled with dangerous skeletons, but what truly terrifies our heroes is a massive war machine at the end of the room, a ballista, aimed directly at them. The next challenge is to reach the other side of the room. The plan is to act fast and run for the archers shooting the weapon. Our heroes are nearly killed several times, but they destroy half of the monsters and reach the center room. This means only one thing. The archers are about to lose. So they decide to sacrifice their comrades and load the ballista with the Giraffe Obliterator 3000, a crescent-shaped guillotine that no one can escape. They fire at the group, hitting 2 of our heroes and killing several of their own. The rest of the party rushes ahead to eliminate the archers, who just give up. With the ballista now silent, the wounded are treated and the group enters the third room. We find a breach guarded by a cursed beast, a dragon. A dead dragon. The rules didn't mention that it needed to be fed, so Hans didn't bother. All that remains are its bones sunken in filth, which hide the real danger. Miasma, a purple cloud of disease born from the rot of exposed corpses. For a long time it was believed to be a myth, but as my village would find out when my uncle Feket succumbed to his horrible addiction, miasma is very real. Luckily, it's away from our heroes, but if anything were to happen to the breach, it would pose a serious threat. Hans blows up the breach and tells the heroes that they need to get to the other side, and fast. But how? They run to the previous room, take apart the ballista, and use its main body as a bridge. They run across to the doors, leading them to the fourth room. Now the heroes see a monolithic climbing wall. The wall has stones that are easy to climb, but they hide a nasty secret. In each row, there's one real stone and 3 fake. If you grab a real one, nothing will happen. But if you grab a fake one, the stone sinks and triggers a bomb. The bomb won't kill you, but it will scorch you pretty bad. The wall has 9 rows, and if the heroes don't want to end up as a pile of stuff, they need to find the correct path. And how will they do that? Through a battle with a vile and merciless tyrant, whose blows tear both flesh and pride. A trivia quiz. The questions are fairly simple, but problems soon begin as they reach the 5th row. The question reads, which of these things goes into beer? And these were the options. Our barbarian thought it was a trick question, so he picked A for ergot, a fungus that grows in wheat and is also used to make LSD. This was not the right answer. Then he thought it was almonds, so he told the fighter to pick that one, and once again, it blew up. Because if you wanted to make beer with almonds, you would get a good brew of cyanide. Despite taking a tumbling in the DMZ, the fighter's heavy armor was somewhat okay, so he climbed back up and listened to his friends. And they, between pumpkin and green potatoes, chose the wrong answer.
Zóna zemiaki duj.
Okej, chytím sa zelených zemiakov.
Poď mi deck save!
Ja som to vedel vytratiť!
Nevedel si to! Ty si to 2-krát nevedel a potom si trafil 50-50. To sa nepočíta.
After a few more explosions, the heroes barely managed to reach the top. They took a short rest and continued deeper through the dungeon. In the next room, there was a bridge and skeletons. Lots of skeletons. Hans pointed out the way, and the heroes charged the monsters. When the heroes reached the middle of the bridge, something unexpected happened. The bridge split and began to move. It swung side to side under our heroes, but thankfully, like my village managed to reach Uncle Feket's house and beat his back in with sticks and rocks, each hero managed to stay on, and they reached the other side. Now, they enter the 6th room. Deep underground live beasts so terrible and deadly that only they themselves know what they are. And one such beast awaits our heroes. This cute shrimp and its 3 deadly weapons. The first one is a crushing bite. The cage lets the shrimp reach only so far, but one bite with its jaws is enough to change your action into a death save. If you're careful and avoid its bite, the second weapon can get you from afar. It's Frost Breath. Its belly is built kinda like this fire extinguisher. It's full of CO2, and if the heroes reveal themselves, the shrimp floats them with an icy mist. But if they manage to survive even that, then it uses its third and deadliest weapon. A black tentacle which creates lightning. These bolts will fry anyone who gets caught by them. Like our second barbarian, who got frostbite first and then died by lightning. Before his death, he gave the tentacle a John Henry special, stunning it for a few moments and giving the monk a clear way. He ran through the room and found massive doors secured by a strong lock with no keyhole. While others distract the beast, the monk pulls out the 2 wrench keys and gets to work. Immediately, he makes a mistake. He places the wrenches opposite to each other and tries to break the lock sideways. This only works on weaker and smaller locks. If the lock is stronger, this technique fails. That's why you need to brace the larger wrench against the round bent part. This stretches the steel at its weakest point and opens even the strongest of locks. Monk breaks the lock and yells to others who hurry to the last room. Finally, no traps, no bombs, and no monsters. Only gold and silver. Hans sits down, and the heroes start looting. As they sort metals from diamonds, they uncover pieces of a clay tablet. The pieces are small, but together they form a block of dwarven runes. Its meaning is translated by the heroes, and they discover that the tablet is a message from none other than the architect of the dungeon. He congratulates them on defeating his fortress, but also challenges them to one final act. Now that they've plundered his treasure, the dungeon has lost its purpose and will soon be forgotten. Its interior, like always, will be maintained by Hans. And when his name is mentioned, the letter shifts in its tone. The tablet explains that Hans is a lich. If you don't know what that is, a lich is an unbelievably powerful wizard who does horrifying things to achieve immortality. He does them because he feels dark winds blowing out of the depths of his own future. Winds that erase what he loves and that break what he is. It is never said who Hans was or what he did, only that once he achieved immortality, he lost his reasons to do the things that once made a difference. That's when the architect found him and gave him an offer. Hans would maintain his dungeon, and in return, he would give him what no magic ever could: a monotonous job. What the architect didn't mention was that the dungeon traps anything magical inside of it, and Hans' own might would only strengthen the bars of this prison. But why would he tell him any of this? To Hans, it wouldn't matter anyway. Now that the architect is long gone, what to do with Hans is up to our heroes. So the heroes reflect. After a long discussion, they consult the tablet, which points them to a shelf of magical brooms. They grab the brooms, surround the lich, and start beating the shit out of him. The brooms splinter, the dust settles, and Hans is revealed. He's been turned into a 6 out of 10 elderly white guy. Hans starts yelling at our heroes, but quickly tires out. He sees what's happened, and at his side, he feels those dark winds again. Closer than ever before. Well, at first he thinks about speeding up to the end, but there really isn't a decent reason for that. He could do the lich thing again, but there's already enough memories he has to bear from a life like that. And as he's remembering unpleasant stuff, he notices our heroes. Bent and broken, they stand and wait for his decision. He doesn't know why they do this, or what to think about this whole situation really. But he is sure that he can do something about it. So for now, he stands up and tries to live a life in which he can remember this one. Just like my Uncle Fecket, who decided to fight his terrible addiction, and from what I've heard, he haven't had sex with a dead person for over 2 years. The party picks up and heads out of the dungeon. Do you remember that chest with the rope from the beginning? Well, that chest is a part of a machine that uses the adventurer's rope to construct an elevator that will pull them out from the bottom room. If someone had hidden the rope, Hans would unplug the elevator and the adventurers would have to redo the whole dungeon in reverse. But thankfully, nobody was a little bastard, and that's the end of this adventure. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!